Good morning, cave dwellers. C64 Woody or Grant from Texas giving you something to help you wake up. Have a good day.
Morning. I was hoping for a bit more time to finish eating my toast. How are we all doing? Thank you for that, Woody. Who doesn't like a bit of Woody in the morning? Lovely way to start the stream. Right, I'll come back to the toast. I've still got my morning coffee though. So we've got an early morning stream today, just to try and catch a few of our Southern Hemisphere friends, and it looks like we have. Just butter on my toast, Lily, thank you. Far fewer viewers than normal, as would be expected, but hopefully some of the regulars who watch at the normal time will come back and watch this video a bit later. So what have we got? We are on to the letter E. There's no gizmo today, sorry. We've got a couple of game room tours. Castardo, these are not my pyjamas. I got dressed especially for you. Right, let's have a look then. We will start with our good friend Aidan, who requested an early morning stream because he's way down south in New Zealand. So let's start with Aidan's room tour. I believe there will be audio with this one. He starts with a trigger warning about the amount of mess that we might be dealing with on his tour. Let's have a look.
Hello, cave dwellers.
Hello, Aidan.
This isn't so much a cave tour as a tour of my dad's spare room. During the lockdown over here in New Zealand, I've been staying 35 kilometers away from where I live with my parents. They're both in their 70s and there's certain things they're not allowed to do. So I've been here for 5 weeks and it's been fun.
Yeah, on the subject of New Zealand and the lockdown, I think they have one of the best infection and death rates of the entire world when it comes to this virus. They've dealt with it in what appears to be the best way possible. So they've done really well. Nice to hear Aidan's helping his parents out down there.
I mean, I haven't lived in this house for 25 years, but anyway. This is Dad's room of all sorts of stuff, which used to be the computer room when I was a kid. And something we've got over here, we have a digital rainbow from DEC, or Digital Equipment Corporation. This thing still runs, although it hasn't been on for about 6 months, let's say. Oh yeah, Dad's into music in a big way. There's lots of it around. Nearly every song ever in this box, I think, they're all MP3s on hundreds and hundreds of CDs. We found some stuff from years ago that we had no idea we still had. I was looking through it the other day. My original Spectrum.
ZX Spectrum. I've just had a quick look for the Digital Rainbow just to get a bit more information on it, because that's a new one on me. The Rainbow 100, this is Wikipedia, was a microcomputer introduced by Digital Equipment in 1982. The desktop unit had a monitor similar to the VT220 in a dual CPU box with both a 4 MHz Zilog Z80 and a 4.8 MHz Intel 8088. So there you go. The best of both worlds. It ran CPM. Oh, Gizmo wants to go out. It ran both CPM using the Z80 and MS-DOS using the 8088. Are you going out? No? You're staying. Okay. I want one now. Aidan, you're a bad influence. Anyway, let's continue.
Still in its box. And a couple of cartridges for the interface too. We've got Psst and Cookie. So let's take a look at the Spectrum. And that's it. And the very first computer I ever really...
Helps if I take mute off, doesn't it? I was just saying, I think there were only 11 cartridges made, or 11 games made in that format. Yeah, my voice does sound different because I've just woken up. Do you know what? I try to do my voiceovers in the morning when I'm a bit croakier. A bit more bass.
Really used. The original one. It's still got some dents on it where it fell down one day. And I haven't turned this on for, geez, 5 years. And I'm not going to, just in case. Also, the cartridges for Psst and Cookie were in there. These things had little rubber bits on them, which I never knew you were just supposed to leave on. We always used to pull them off before we put them in the Interface 2 socket. Ooh, we've got an Interface 1 as well, which has burnt out. There's a micro drive somewhere in this building. I've got no idea where. Hiding over here, we've got ZX81. And its RAM pack is again somewhere here, but I've got no idea where. These shelves have been here for most of my life. That's the box from the first zip drive that I bought in 1997 or 8, probably 98. Still on the shelf. Yeah, Mum and Dad don't change much. Oh, also there's a box of shotgun shells up there for
of course.
no good reason. And this little nook in here is where the Commodore 128 was for ages. That's now Dad's audio editing PC. He runs a low power radio station going out through. This is a very cool little thing. It's a USB mixer. So it shows up as a USB sound card, plus it has inputs. We've got another mixer as well. And this is a piece of software that I wrote in 1998, 99, which I updated again like 2001. It just plays music. That's all it's for.
It's got a very Winamp look to it, doesn't it? But obviously a bit more going on. And then obviously that's sort of managing the... I don't know, is this an FM broadcast? How does this work, Aidan? I think did I see Aidan in the chat earlier? Let us know if you're there, mate.
It was, years before people could do that. Dad does his radio announcements from here and everything. Got some compressor expanders up top. He's on 106.9 FM. And any Kiwis watching,
oh, there we go.
will
106.9.
definitely have had one of these money boxes. I think we all did. I think it's the law. Okay, so over here is where I've been doing, well, it's where we used to keep all the Amiga software and stuff on discs just stacked up from floor to ceiling, because the Amiga used to sit there. I'm just catching up on some Barry Lewis at the moment.
Smades in the chat is Aidan. Morning, Aidan. Thank you for sending this in. It's really fascinating to see. And who else said good morning back there? Somebody did. Somebody said a good day. Whacked Man, good day.
If you haven't watched this one, it's great. But yeah, bizarrely, the Commodore 64 used to sit there, and that's the same TV that's been there since the 90s.
That's nice.
It's still there. And the Murphy's Law poster's been there forever. And down here I think we've got
Some
one,
VHSs.
2, 3 Amiga Genlocks and an empty drive and Amiga drives. Just sitting there on the shelf doing absolutely nothing. Whole stack of Commodore 64 cartridges, but yeah, no Commodore 64s anymore.
Looks like you got Choplifter at the bottom of that pile. Come on, they need saving at least, Aidan. Save the C64 carts.
We have about 100 I'm a Commodore user stickers, which have been here since the 90s probably.
Thank you, Damo.
Oh dear, these haven't been moved in 20 plus years. Bumper stickers. Would you like one?
Yeah.
And this crazy little thing here is not a bomb. It's a little Arduino at the top there, Arduino Nano, and it's playing games of Simon Says against itself. So this is a birthday present for my niece. It's going to be eventually in a much nicer little box, which I whipped up the other day. But this, for the moment, is just the test, and it's just all it's doing is just playing thousands and thousands of games of Simon against itself to make sure my logic is right, and it's right so far. It hasn't, crashed
Or exploded. I still don't quite believe that that's not
just
a
for a
bomb.
bit of fun. This is something I happened to bring over with me. It's a little Raspberry Pi, I think, in there, running just RetroPie. It's just a prototype, and it's not very good yet. This is a little grout spacer, which works incredibly well as a D-pad.
I never thought of
I
that.
have to say. But yeah, that's basically Dad's spare room, which used to be the computer room, oh so many years ago, and it's been fun and interesting. Oh yeah, that's a Mega Race poster, and it's been there since 1994.
What was the name
It's
of?
been interesting.
What was the name of the announcer on Mega Race? Because they're trying to do a Mega Race reboot, and that original announcer guy is all over Twitter promoting it. He's still around. He's quite a character.
Visiting this place for an extended period over the lockdown, but the rest of you guys,
Thank you, Russell. Lance Boyle, that was his name.
be well, stay safe, and we're all going to get through this.
Thank you, Aidan. That was really nice. You got some cool stuff hidden away there. You're locked down there, looking after your parents. Thank you for the sub, Craig. And you've got all that stuff to go through. Go on, do your dad a favour. Although he'll probably kill you if you move anything. Is he that kind of dad? He knows where everything is, I expect. But yeah, you got some cool stuff. See if you can find that C64. Have a rummage, yeah. So that's Aidan's tour. We have got another tour, but let's look at the E-games that you've chosen for us today. We'll start with a picture from Chris. And he's gone for E for Empire Strikes Back. He said he was at work, and he contacted his son and said, can you quickly send a photo in of an E-game, because we didn't have much time after last night's stream to get stuff in for this morning. His son is called Luke, after Luke Skywalker. And he did him proud. He sent him this photo. So I think he's done well there. In fact, that's just the Star Wars trilogy, but he's picked out Empire Strikes Back from it, which was that the isometric one where you had the land speeder going through the woods? It wasn't one of the vector ones, was it? I think that's what that one was. There you go, 3-in-1. Bargain. Oh, it was a wireframe one. Return of the Jedi, you're right. It was Return of the Jedi, which was the isometric one. Thank you, Amiga. Need more coffee. Geronimo, yeah, I'm surprised that I don't see and Echo the Dolphin, but I haven't watched them all. Last time we said I'm surprised I haven't seen Dizzy the Egg, and then Pixels gave us Dizzy the Egg 2 seconds later. So let's see what Pixels has got for us today. It might be another Dizzy situation. Let's have a look. Give him some volume.
Hi everyone, Pixels at Dawn here again. Well, I thought I'd do something a bit different for E. And I would bring all of the information in the entire world. That's right, it's in Carter 96.
That's not a game. Should we just close the video? Does that count?
This is my
original
game
copy
I got with my first PC, I think, Pentium 133 back in the day. And along with things like Microsoft Works and all that kind of stuff. But this was a revelation. I remember at school loading this up and watching the videos and playing Mind Maze. Unfortunately, the CD case has seen better days.
Mind Maze, yes. Okay, you get through on a technicality. It had the game Mind Maze. Oh look, and we've just paused it there on Ian's face. Hello Ian, good morning. Oh, he's working on his beard. That's a good look.
But not to worry. You've got a lovely, I don't know whether you're able to see that even on the camera. Sort of printed, come on, you can do it. No, you can just see me and the camera. Hi. Yes, it's got a print of astronaut and the Kremlin and things like that on there, which is quite nice. Is it Kremlin or is it? Oh, I don't know. I'm no good at Russian geography. I don't know whether there's anything interesting in the inlay. No Microsoft products, probably not. But let's have a look anyway. Welcome to Encarta 96 Encyclopedia, telling you how to use Encarta.
Oh, I was just going to look at the specs there.
I'm pretty sure everybody worked that out without ever reading the
Give me a freeze frame.
manual.
Nope, it's gone.
Not to worry. So not too exciting. Not an interesting box today, but at least all of the information in the entire world. Who needs the internet?
I mean, when you first used something like Encarta, it did blow your mind. Naturally, you realised that some articles had a video, and then you made it your mission to find every article with a video and watch them all. The same with the San Diego Zoo, the Animals CD. The first experience I had like that was on an Acorn Archimedes in the school library. We had a CD-ROM drive for it with a caddy, and you put a very similar thing to Encarta in there. Yeah, it was mind-blowing. Was 96 the first one? I think the first one was just called Encarta, wasn't it? And before that, Microsoft had a CD-ROM called, I want to say it's called Bookshelf. I think it was called Bookshelf. Released in 1987. I can't give you the wrong facts. Let me look this up. I think it was 1987. Microsoft Bookshelf. Yeah, 1987. And that was the first CD-ROM using the CD-ROM format, according to the Rainbow Book standards, that was ever released. Microsoft Bookshelf. Contained a dictionary, a thesaurus, a dictionary of quotes, and a load of stuff like that. And it was Microsoft trying to promote the CD-ROM format. So there you go, first ever CD-ROM commercially released. Yes, Dave, before that. Do you know what, Dave? I've come across another one similar to the Codemasters CD, and I'm trying to pin a date on it. So the plot thickens. Russell says the first one was just Encarta. Yeah. And actually that Microsoft Bookshelf CD, I think it was on sale until something like the year 2000, so it had a long run. But of course the internet was in full swing by then. 1993, thank you Grant. Grantipedia. Pixel says I only need to shave A for work, who aren't allowing us to use video for bandwidth purposes, or B, so my other half will go near me, but she's isolated in a different house, hence beard. Well, maybe when that's thickened out and she sees you, she'll see what a man you are with a beard, and she'll change her mind. Dana says, I've got a brilliant e-game. Ergies. Oh god, we're getting on to Neil's pronunciation again now. Please, give me phonetic spellings. Encarta went through to 2009, so Encarta certainly outlived Microsoft Bookshelf. But yeah, it's become pretty irrelevant with access to the internet now, hasn't it? So we are moving on to Richard Shear's letter E. Richard is in the chat, so let him know what you think. Let's put the audio on. Oh, hello. That's a fancy intro screen. Oh, good morning, Cave Dwellers. Apologies for not being able to show my own boxed games. They're currently in the office or storage. Very Star Wars. Wow, this is a production. I don't know that there is any audio with it. I'm not hearing any. The Retro Man Cave is brought to you by the letter E and the number 8. Ah, look what it is. The Empire Strikes Back. No, there's no audio, so I'll pop the music back on. So that's +1 for The Empire Strikes Back. Very high quality video editing, David. There we go, and now I can see it is wireframe. I was confusing it with Return of the Jedi. No Amstrads were harmed. Oh, we have got audio. We have got audio, but I'll just knock it down because it might blow your ears off. Listen to that. And Earth 2150. Oh, that's a nice big box PC. Was that a morphine transition? Epic on the Amiga. I'm glad someone chose Epic. Because Epic was by DID. There we go. And there was always this period with the Amiga mega demos where I used to think, these mega demos look amazing. They've got all these sort of outer space scenes and fantastic 3D things flying around. Why can't I have that in a game? And obviously it was because it didn't have the horsepower to do both the effects that they were showing on the screen, including some sort of shortcuts and cheats that meant you probably couldn't rotate the camera and things like that. There was all sorts going on to make so much happen on the screen in these mega demos. And he said, why can't I have that in a game? And Epic was the game that came out that kind of brought it together. You had those kind of demo scene, you know, that number of polygons flying around on the screen, those epic space scenes. And it finally happened. It wasn't received that well. Gizmo's back. Didn't get the greatest ratings, but it wasn't an awful game. And I did play more of TFX, which used the same engine. Anyway, let's carry on. No audio on this bit. I think that might be a slightly accelerated Amiga as well. It's going at some lick. But there you go, you see what I mean about the kind of demo scene style scenes in the game. Derek loves the Amstrads, of course he does. There it is. Remember that box because it may come up in a future RMC quiz. Ben says someone from the UK must have chosen Elite. I was a Vampire Amiga. Okay. Well, maybe they have. Let's try E. Let's see what Russell's got for us. Maybe he chose Elite. Well, I think Russell gave us a little bit of a tour as well, he said in his email. So let's see what he's got to show us. Volume up for Russell.
Greetings, Cave Dwellers.
Greetings.
Hope you're all doing fantastically well with all of your retro stuff. As you can see, I'm kind of in the middle of cleaning up my Amiga 500, which is actually the original Amiga 500 that I got in 1991.
Oh, I hate this. I hate this. I hate the gunk that forms on the keys like that. Ugh. Clean it.
Which my parents got me and the rest of the family. It's been in the roof for the last few years, and I think it's seen better days. I mean, there's certainly a problem here, and then things start to get worse, and then there's the shielding, which kind of doesn't look great, and it's held on with these things, which is absolutely fine because I have a set of these. So to make short work
The RMC approved screwdriver set. It's a very good set, Matt.
of this, and oh, look at that! Actually, not looking too bad. I mean, that could do with some cleaning. Any suggestions on what to do to this to get it a little bit cleaner?
Just a bit of IPA, and if you really want a bit of metal polish like Brasso, put it on, leave it on there for however long the box recommends. About 10 minutes or so will do it, and then just buff it off. You won't be able to restore the missing bits where the PC, where it's scraped away, obviously. But that looks like it's got plenty of contact left on it for anything that you want to plug in. So there you go, a bit of Brasso.
Up until
And Richard says an eraser. Yeah, a lot of the specky users like to use an eraser on the back connector. So again, that's less harsh than Brasso. So just stages, maybe start with the eraser. No, start with the IPA to get the dirt off, then the eraser, and then if you want a bit more, a bit of metal polish.
yesterday, there was a 0.5 meg RAM expansion on this, which does not look as bad as it. Yeah,
that's not bad. If you snip that off and just clean up, maybe a new cap. Oh, you've got actually it's leaked all the way onto these legs, hasn't it? That horrible Vata juice. Wow, there's no big loss. This is the beauty of the 500 over the 500 plus. You tend to have these time bombs, which are just isolated to this board, but on the 500 plus, it just explodes on the board itself. Poor 500 pluses.
well, I've got to get that battery off, haven't I? And then clean this green gunk off the legs, and yeah, get that battery off there. Incidentally, I bought this with my own money in 1992, I think. It was £30, and I saved up for ages to get it.
92. I got my first 512k memory expansion, 90 I think it was, and I bought it and I imported Dragon's Lair from America for some reason on about 12 floppy disks, and that was the first game I played that utilised that extra RAM. I wasn't a man of particular taste.
There we go. So, a game that begins with the letter E. Well, I just happen to have one.
Ah, good
Here.
choice.
It's Eliminator. I think I've seen Neil play this on the channel before at some point, either as a test for something or just to show something on the screen.
I have, because when I first got my Amiga 500, it came with Eliminator. It came with a Greek-based kind of board game. What was that? Power Play. It came with Power Play. It wasn't a pack. It's just what the shop owner, who was it? Lansdowne Computers in Bournemouth, threw in with it. And Eliminator wasn't great, but it was a hell of a step up from the Amstrad games I'd been playing.
It's
had some good
one
music.
of my favourites. And because this is kind of at the Menders at the moment, all I can show you is a couple of clips from a long play that I found on YouTube.
There's that music.
Now, incidentally, there was a bug in this game, or at least I think it's a bug, because every time
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas.
get up to 10,000 points, I think it's 10,000 points, you get a new life, which is represented down here. Now, you can get about 5 lives maximum, and if you don't, if your ship doesn't get destroyed, then it'll keep adding lives on. And if you get up to 5 lives, and if you get an extra life after that, I'm not explaining this very well, then it actually gives you infinite lives, which is very peculiar. So it's obviously a bug that was left in.
Hacker Man.
It was available on the Amiga, the Atari ST, the Commodore 64, the Spectrum, and the Amstrad CPC.
Oh,
But
the Amstrad one looked like it was struggling a bit. Yeah, Tim, Lansdowne Road in Bournemouth, you've got it. There was a roundabout, and Lansdowne Computers was right on the roundabout there. It's long gone now.
Amiga version will always be my favourite. But yes, thank you, Neil, for doing all of these streams that you're doing. And I've actually been binging a lot of stuff on your channel recently, which sort of led me to get this old thing out of the roof, give it a dust down, and start playing some games on it again. So yeah, ta very much. TTFN.
TTFN. Oh, we started again. Thank you, Russell. That was a real blast for me. The Amiga. You know, the Amiga always gets me going, and then to have it with one of the first games I ever played on the Amiga. And I'm glad to see that you're cleaning that up and that it didn't get destroyed in the roof. Give it a couple more years with that RAM expansion and it would have worked its way, its green fingers would have worked its way into the board and caused more damage. So it's good to see that that's saved. And good luck with the restoration. Hopefully you can send us in a photo or a little video when it's cleaned up. Maybe that will help to motivate you to get it done. I wonder how many computers like this are being restored and cleaned up because we're all in lockdown. It's a good time to be an old beaten up computer, isn't it? Richard says Mercenary was the first game he played. That was a great game. Loved the Mercenary series. Waxman, that CPC port was bad, yeah. Mike, that's fine, yeah. Yeah, we haven't had enough Atari on the show and tells. Thank you, Russell. Russell is going to send in a cleaned up video. And yes, you can come to Discord, come to the RMC Discord, which is linked on any RMC video if you want to chat. There's an Amiga room, there's rooms for loads of systems if you want any help on restoring them. We're on to Tim, who is in the chat, Tim's letter E. I always look forward to Tim's videos. Let's see what he's got for us today. Ah, look at that. 100 points for showing us his new mug, which he bought from the RMC store. If anyone wants one, let me know and I'll drop a link in the chat. But I've started doing custom ones. So you can have your own, you can have anything you want on the mug, really. But yeah, people are going for their own caves. Let's see what Tim's got for us.
So hello, Tim here. And letter E. I'm committed now because I started on
10 minutes dogs.
Let's keep going. This is not an easy one because letter E is a little bit underrepresented when it comes to games, and I'm going to assume some of the great cave dwellers are going to cover fantastic games like Elite, which I actually got Elite status on a Spectrum on a rubber keyboard, which seems insane now.
You have assumed wrong, sir. We've not had Elite.
Just still had the save game. Things like Earthworm Jim, Echo, and so on. But I've picked something a bit left field, and that's a PC game called Elite Force 2. Set in the Star Trek universe, but it was just a really great shooter, and the graphics are good for the time. And yeah, I enjoyed the single player part of it. And actually, fingers looking into this and deciding to cover this title has made me want to go and play it again. So I will, and hopefully it stood up to the test of time. And I'm off, and I'll see you in the F.
Thank you, Tim.
So hello.
Oh, we're back to the start. Thank you, Tim. See you in the F. I have not played that one. I'm not a big Trekkie, so I don't actively go out hunting the Star Trek games, which I know appalls some people. But yeah, looks fun. It doesn't look particularly Star Trek-y from the cover. It's just sort of Star Trek. Were there screenshots on the back? There were, weren't there? Oh, it's frozen up. It looked like an FPS kind of game to me. Anyway, Chris says Elite Force had the worst level editor. Oh, Mark used to play it. Hello, Pillock. Good. So, 3 of you have emailed me while we've been live with your e-choices. So let's just try and squeeze them in. And then we've got another room tour. Let's get these downloaded. The first one comes from... Who's this from? Geronimo Let's Play. Let's get that downloaded. No, it's killing my downloader. Okay. Let me figure out how to download this. I've got a download manager and it's just killing it. Let's disable it. Okay, Maury Games. That's not worked. Have I lost the file name extension? I think I have. There we go. Geronimo has chosen Echo the Dolphin. It was a good game. It was, you know, in a world of Sonic the Hedgehogs and Fast and Furious, crazy blast processing games. It was a nice sort of relaxing experience, wasn't it? It was still had its frustrating parts. It was nice. It was nice being a dolphin, swimming around. I always like going up to the top and jumping out the water. Ben says, how about some arcade greats, Elevator Action and Exerion? And Echo on the DC, I've heard great things. I haven't played it, but as I said yesterday, I'm going to be fixing up a Dreamcast soon. So that would definitely go high on the list. Chris wants to send an email. Cheapy Tina, I found Echo the Dolphin relaxing. Yes, there were frustrating parts, but, you know, you could have a nice swim around, looking for your dolphin friends. What else have we got in the inbox? We've got one from Ian, from Monster Joysticks Ian. Ian. Here we go. That. Ian has chosen The Empire Strikes Back again. But he's gone for the Atari 2600 version, I'm guessing that is, or is it the 7800? Ian, tell us about your... we haven't got there yet, Monster Joysticks, because I haven't given you my game choice, Ian. Oh no, Grant's lost respect for me not being a Trekkie. So Ian, tell us about this. Why have you chosen this one? Is this one you played back in the day? Or did you discover it later in life? Oh, that's fine, Chris. Yeah, F games for tomorrow. And then Pixels has sent us the inlay from Encarta so we can see the specs. It turns out we need a 486SX or higher, 386DX minimum, 8 meg of RAM, 6 minimum, a CD-ROM drive, of course, an audio board, 256 of colour or better display. And it works on Windows 3.1. That's how you get your Encarta experience. Ian says the Empire Strikes Back is the 2600 version. It's crap. It's the only thing I could get my hands on at 8 in the morning. But that's as good a reason as any. You know. There are no rules. I said to Lily this morning making breakfast, I said, can you think of any video games starting with E for me? And she said, EA Sports? Get out. So my choice of E-game, let me find it. My choice of E-game is, of course it's Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Of course it is. No, I won't be streaming at 7 PM tonight. we'll go back to normal time tomorrow. This is maybe a one-off. We may do some more early ones, but yeah, I'm a bit more awake in the evenings. So Elvira, I bought this at a computer fair. I may have been influenced by the box art. Oh no, we've got adverts. Go away. We don't want to do stock market trading, thank you. Oh. There we go. I actually found this game really scary, in part because of the music. It had a really sort of creepy atmosphere. The music really set it off. There were the guard enemies with white eyeballs and all the rest of it. And you had to mix your herbs to make your spells. Never completed it. There she is, the woman herself. In the kitchen. I can't remember the objective. You had to do something for her. Yeah, it is a bit of a sort of dungeon crawlery style game, Dennis. But I enjoyed it, and there was lots of screaming sound effects and things. Anyway, that's my choice of e-game today. Now we've got one more thing. We've got we've got Brian's tour. Let's just pause this and see what Brian's got to show us. There are Custado. Brian here, who looks like he lives in Downton Abbey. Look at that garden out there. Hopefully Brian will appear. Let's have a look.
Hello, Byron here from Hasbeard Plays Games. So let's take a quick little tour around my room, and I'll talk my man cave.
A little bit quiet. Let me just see if I can knock that up for you. No, that's as loud as it goes. So I will be quiet so you can hear him.
Hello, Byron here from Hasbeard Plays Games. So let's take a quick little tour around my room, and I'll talk my man cave, as it were, and I'll also talk about some of the projects I've got ongoing in my kind of workshop room. So let's see, starting over here is my other half's desk. Not really much to say about that. We do have some games, some retro games down here on this little shelving unit. We've got some PlayStation games up here, a couple of PC classics. We also have some Mega Drive.
What do we got there? Oh, we've got the Dizzy collection down there. Bit of Ren and Stimpy, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Earthworm Jim. But more telling, we've got the Wu-Tang Clan, got Alice in Chains, some Foo Fighters. What else have we got? Blur, Park Life. Let's not dissect your CD collection too much.
5 games down the bottom here, as well as a Japanese Linguaphone disc, which I used for about 10 minutes. Never mind. Most of my collection is relatively new because I kept all my original systems, all the consoles, but I've lost quite a lot of the games over the years, and all of the floppy disks are totally gone. I have no idea if we'll still find them in storage or not. So, oh, and just to warn you before we get too much further, this is quite dusty. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's move on.
No apology needed.
My desk here, not really much to say about that, to be quite honest with you. Yes, it is set up for streaming and YouTube, although
We've got the tape measure. Gotta have a tape measure on your desk.
I don't really do much of that these days. Probably the only thing worth pointing out on here are the 2 controllers. We have the 8-bit Do, whatever, SF30 Pro. This one is absolutely fantastic, but really not that comfortable to hold for long hours.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. It's really nice, but joypad designs have come a long way since then. So by choosing to make it look like the original SNES pad, you still have the same kind of hand cramp as the original gave you, but 8-bit do make great products.
At a time, and we also have the Saturn style M30. Hopefully the camera will... No, let's move away from my monitor. There we go. And this is an absolutely fantastic controller. They've done a really, really great job in replicating the Sega Saturn controller here. Obviously, it's not very good for modern games because you don't have analog sticks on here. We also don't have a camera that likes to focus. But for Saturn games and Mega Drive games, this is a brilliant controller. This one, by the way, this one is Bluetooth. There are variants available that will connect to the original Saturn and Mega Drive. So,
oh, you didn't pick up the iPod Shuffle that we had down there. I used to run with an iPod Shuffle, but to protect it, I used to keep it in the finger of a latex glove that I'd cut off and tied off the end with the headphones coming out. It worked.
Let's turn around here and have a look at the actual systems that we've got down here. So that's my original PlayStation. Most of these over here need repair in some kind of way or another.
Behave, Grant. You know what it is. PlayStation 2 Fat, I've only just got a hold of last week. I've had a Slim for ages, and I had a Fat back in the day, but I've just got a hold of a Fat, so I'm happy to have that in the collection now.
So the PlayStation here, the laser doesn't work. There's also no screws for the case because I lost them years ago. Never mind. Not sure whether I'll just try and repair the original laser or try and just replace it. I don't know yet.
We recently put the SIO device in the back of a PlayStation. Brilliant device, but it's pretty expensive. So you've got to be really into your PlayStation to go for that, and then you can use your SD cards.
The PS1 over here has a bit of a dodgy video output connector. It works, but only really if you kind of wiggle it in the right way. PS2, as far as I know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Needs a cleanup, needs a refurb though. Get rid of all those stickers and sticker residue.
Oh, I like the stickers on that one.
Sitting behind a zombie pigman, we have a Wii that's been soft modded. Nothing really wrong with that. That works just fine. And it's good. It's a good system for some emulators actually, although it's not very powerful, so it can't really do that much. Sit up straight. Over here we have two original Mega Drives, which are absolutely filthy. The systems themselves work absolutely fine, but they have no power adapters, or the power adapters are just not working anymore. And a little tip for people with these things: these need center negative power adapters. Normally most adapters are center positive, but these need center negative, which will catch people out and will damage your Mega Drive, if not destroy the Mega Drive if you use the wrong adapter with these.
Yeah, you got to be so careful with that. The ZX Spectrum, the PC Engine, they've all got reversed polarity on their power adapters, and it's so easy to plug the wrong one in. So easy, and then poof, you've destroyed it.
So watch out for that. Yeah, they just need stripped down and cleaning. What we got down here? Controllers, cables, joysticks.
I've got a box like that.
Etc, 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 including the Sega arcade stick. Sadly, not the one with 6 buttons, but still, it is a great controller to use. So that's pretty much it in here. Let's pause here, and I will recommence in my little workshop room and talk through some of the projects I've got ongoing.
Pillock says he bought some center positive ones and manually reversed them himself. For testing, I've got one of those universal power adapters with the interchangeable ends. So what you do is you just turn the end around to make the center positive. You can either have it negative or positive, just spin it around, and you've got all the different size tips. So I use that for testing, and then when I'm happy something's working, I'll buy a dedicated power adapter for it to store it with and stick a label on it.
Back in a moment. So, in this room then, we have a few more bits and pieces in storage up here, such as the arcade stick I put together a while ago. No, unfortunately, they are not genuine Sanwa arcade parts, this one, I'm afraid. An old Microsoft Sidewinder Force Feedback Pro steering wheel. This is USB, and it still works brilliantly on modern systems. It's a really good wheel, actually. More importantly, over here, we have my classic late 90s Sony Trinitron
very nice
multi-scan 210 ES monitor, which is brilliant. I am hoping...
Go on, focus.
My camera will focus. On. There we go. I am hoping this supports a 15 kilohertz scan signal, because that would be absolutely brilliant.
Well, it is called a multi-scan, so perhaps that would be brilliant if it does. One of the most valuable things in this room is likely to be that IBM keyboard down there. I've been looking for an IBM keyboard to go with my NetVistas recently, and they're just USB ones. But when you get onto the mechanical ones like this, some of them are listed for £400. It's ridiculous.
And over here we have a somewhat naked Atari ST. I can already see the comments in the chat complaining that it's an Atari, not an Amiga. But this is the system I grew up with, so deal with it. This one at the moment is still naked because I recently did a little bit of surgery on here. So the Atari STE has these, let's see if we can get that, has these 0 ohm resistors soldered onto the motherboard, which kind of act as like jumpers to determine which version of or what type of ROM chip you have installed. So if I lift up the floppy drive here, I recently installed, well, floppy emulator, I recently installed a set of TOS 2.06 ROM chips, which was the latest version available for this system. But what I did, if we can see W102, 103 and 104 over here.
Where are we looking over here?
Is that instead, normally this is where the 0 ohm resistors would be installed. So what I did was solder in some 2.54mm pins, and there we can have jumpers. So just pop that back on there. Is that in the right place? Yes. So apparently TOS 2.06 does have some incompatibilities with certain games and applications. So I kept my original TOS 1.62 ROMs. Therefore, if I ever need to switch back, all I need to do is pop those ROM chips out, pop the new ones in, and change over the jumpers. No resoldering, no case modding, no custom boards, nothing like that. Nice and neat. So that's the Atari.
I mean, what I do like about the Atari ST, and we need to do an episode on one soon. I've got an old friend down in Dorset who says he's got one in a cupboard for me when I can get down and collect it from him in an unknown condition. But I do love that the RAM is socketed like that, and you've got the power supply unit built into the machine, which just makes it a little bit neater than the Amiga with its massive power brick on the outside, and its RAM, which is sometimes socketed but not as easily accessible as that. I like it. I like it. Only socketed on the STE, says Hasbeard Play Games. So there you go. I've lots to learn on the STs.
What else have we got in here? Just leave that out of the way. So recently, I also have a pair of these things.
Oh, okay. He's got the keyboard
IBM
now.
Model M keyboard. There's a connector hanging out the back there. Let me just stop that getting damaged. This one, as you can probably see by the odd-looking legends down here, was not a standard keyboard. This one was in a keyboard for a terminal machine, and I converted it using a microcontroller to USB. That microcontroller stopped working because my soldering was rubbish, but it's very simple to repair and replace. However, I will probably have to form some kind of Frankenstein. This one's recently been cleaned. Let's flip it over quickly because people are interested in this kind of thing. Take a look at its birth certificate, as they say. So there's our model information, and you can't see it. You can't really see the date, can we? No, I don't think this one you can actually see.
Well, we've got 1985 over here, so that's sort of close enough, I reckon.
See the date, but these date from around 1989, this one. And this one does have a few dodgy springs. Like this one here, that spring is gone.
It still sounds so good though.
Almost gone. But most of them need replacing, to be perfectly honest. Let's pop this one out the way. Pause.
The Atari squabbling is kicking off in the chat.
Over here, I do have a standard PS2 model with all the proper legends. This one, like I say, this one's a PS2. Let's just take a quick look at its birth certificate. There we go. And this one, we do actually have the date on here, 1991. So the springs in this one are perfect. These are absolutely fine. This keyboard I paid not very much for. It's from 1991 and the springs are still brilliant in it. This one needs a clean, but the problem with this one, however, is that this one has some corroded traces on its membrane. So The membrane is basically now useless. Now you can get replacement membranes from a company called Unicomp, who have a license now to produce the Model M keyboard. However, they are $10 for the replacement membrane, but $32 to ship that membrane to the UK.
No.
To me, seems pointless. I'll just bring the other one back up here a moment. Whoops, without throwing it on the floor. The actual key layouts are identical. So the membrane on this one is still good, and the membrane is exactly the same as for this one. So what that means is obviously I can swap between the two of them. Problem with that, however, let me get this one out of the way. Get the old one from down here. Sorry about the camera angles, I'm not a very good handheld photographer. Video size limit almost reached. I better wrap this up. Anyway, basically I have to bolt mod the keyboards, which means shearing off a bunch of plastic and replacing bolts. So it'll be a bit of a bugger.
Oof.
Anyway, I think I better wrap this up now, so I've gone on long enough. So thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for your tour. Enjoyed that. And you've also submitted an F game for tomorrow. So thank you for that. Right, I will just check the email box one last time before we wrap this up for today. Just see if we've got any. Yeah, we've got one more. We've got one more. There we go. This is from Dana. Urgis. How do we say this? Sounds like something Chaz and Dave might sing about. You just like sending me awkward games that you know I won't be able to say, don't you? Looks like I don't know. This looks like your Final Fantasy guy back here. Is this some kind of fighter, cross-franchise fighter? Is this Resident Evil down here? Maybe a bit of Tekken? Guys. It's pronounced guys. Thank you, Pixels. That's really helped. Uruguay. So, it's pronounced "Hey, you guys." Thank you, Pillock. So, thank you, everyone. We'll leave Grant on the Woody on the screen there to see us out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll go back to normal times after today, but hopefully that helped some of our Southern Hemisphere friends to join us. It was good to see some different names in here today. Better let you all get back to work. I was going to go into the cave today because UPS said that they would be delivering my YouTube Creator Award today, and I checked the tracking last night. It's been signed for. So I'm going to drive in and hope to God that it's there. And of course, I'll do a little recording of the opening of it for you guys. It'd be a shame not to share that moment with you. So thank you everyone for your tours. Doesn't Woody play a great version of F-Zero? And I'll see you, let's say 7 PM BST tomorrow for more of the same. Send in your F games beginning with the letter F, your show and tells and your tours to retromancave@gmail.com. And we'll have some more fun tomorrow. Take care everyone, bye bye. Take it away, Woody.